Hi, it's Joe from the professional services team at Firewalls.com, and I just wanted to give you a quick, brief explanation on network objects. First things first, what is a network object? So, when you create a network object, you create an identity that contains both a service and an IP address mapped to it. So, when you need to create a firewall policy or rule, instead of typing the service or IP address over and over again for each rule that involves this specific IP, instead, you create this identity in your firewall that points to the specific service, to an exact destination, and all you have to know is the name of the identity. So let me show you some different types of network objects. So again, most commonly, you will be using objects to create firewall rules, and this involves address objects and service objects. Address objects can be host addresses, a range of IPs, a whole network, which must be defined by the network's address, and a corresponding net mask. Additionally, you can also create a MAC address object or even an FQDN, fully qualified domain name, such as Firewalls.com. It is worth mentioning that if you need to create an address object for content filtering, that would be done in a separate tab over here at content filtering /URL. And this, my friends, is a whole nother video for the future. Let me show you how to create an address object. You click on addresses. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Here you'll find the add button. And for this example, I think I'm going to do a web server. So like a host. Let's just call it web server 12. I do want to place this in my DMZ zone. And like I said, it's a host, it's a single IP address. Let's do 10.10.150.254. And then you click on save. It will save the object and allow you to continue to create additional address objects. I like to go back and make sure that the object was created correctly. And you can do that quickly by changing the view from all to custom. These default ones are objects that the firewall automatically creates when you edit these interfaces. For example, my X1 IP, it's a host and it's on my WAN, and I can just go ahead and use this address object in a policy, a policy, a rule, or a NAT. I don't have to type it in, and you cannot delete these. So let's go ahead and change the view to custom. Here you'll find the ones that you've created, and here's mine, web server number 12, with the IP address I indicated in the DMZ zone. Under configure, you can edit by clicking on the pencil. Any changes made to this will take effect if they are being used, if this address object is being used by a policy or a NAT. If you go ahead and change if you edit the IP address or the name or the zone, if this address object is being used, it will take effect in the policy as well. So if I went back and I changed it to 252, this change would apply to the policies that are using that. Very good. So let's do a second one. This one, let's do a range. I mean, you can play around with these. Like I said, there's FQDN, MAC. You can do a network. Let's do a range, and let's say this is for our VoIP, our voice over IP configuration. Can I type? And you could place this in its own custom zone, like a VoIP. You could call it like a VoIP zone. I haven't done that yet, so I'm just gonna place it on my LAN for this example. If you don't know how to create a zone, I do have a video for that on how to configure a custom zone out there.
So like I said, VoIP range on the LAN range, and I don't know. I already used the 10, so I'm gonna use this other IP, and let's say we have like 40 phones. Hit save. And then like I said, I like to verify that it's all looking good. And there you go.
Then there's service objects just under addresses, which function similarly. I'm actually going to create a video demonstrating service objects and how to group them. Grouping objects can be done with both address objects as well. So both address and services can be grouped to then be applied to policies.
Real quick, I'm going to show you how these are used. If you click on add a rule, once you get to the section where it asks for the address, you will find the object you created, and if you hover over the eye, you'll see what's included with that address object. Same thing with our web server. You'll find it here, and it's ready to be used. Well, I hope you found that useful. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you can get notified of future video releases. And like always, come check us out at Firewalls.com, where you can find a large selection of top-rated security brands and learn more about our managed services. See you at the next one.